Hello again everybody and welcome to this special edition of Wrestling Showdown Rewind here on the W3L network, which of course you all know comes out every Sunday at 12 o'clock if you've hit that subscribe button, because you'll be notified every time a new episode is released. So what's so special about this episode? Well, it's kind of crept up on us, but this is our 6th year anniversary episode. Yeah, 6 years we've been doing this, and we'd have normally made some sort of effort and kind of celebrated, but with things being the way they are this year, it's not really been possible. But on the upside, we have chosen a very special match for you, but I'll tell you about that in just a bit. Speaking of matches, who can't wait to see live matches? These are the dates we currently have scheduled. They were rescheduled from earlier this year, so all original tickets will remain valid. Now, if you bought tickets for these events back at the start of the year, keep hold of them, you won't miss out. Chances are they'll be rescheduled again, but stay tuned to all of our social media platforms for up-to-date information on that. That's kind of what we're working with, however. And if you want to get your fix of W3L action, as great as Wrestling Showdown Rewind is every Sunday at 12 o'clock, you can of course go to w3lboxoffice.com, and we've got a whole slew of events. There's full live events, compilations, the historic 10-year documentary is all there for you to watch via digital download, so you can get involved in that. And when we are back up and running with live events, Crafty Connoisseur will be back on board. They have been continuing to operate all year as always, so you can go on their website and you can make a purchase and they'll send it straight out to you. Check out their social media platforms because they often have some special offers on. Make them a purchase and tell them that we said hello. If you're going to make a purchase of anything, buy a fan support package. It helps you help us while we await live wrestling returning. Prices begin at only £5, and for that money you get cheap ringside tickets, you get DVDs, you get signed posters, and you get an exclusive video message from a W3L store off your choice. DVDs are also available from our website, as are our fantastic range of t-shirts. We've been throwing out some new designs over the past week or so. Check all of them out, make your purchase from our website. I'll tell you more about that in just a while. But I said with a special match for you, and we truly do. We're going back to the March of 2009 as Mike Musso takes on Spike Anderson. Now, Spike Anderson is not a person that's ever appeared here on Rewind before. He was part of the original team in W3L. He was there in the early days, and he and Mike Musso were extremely good friends. They started training together, had their first match opposite each other. They helped form W3L. Their friendship has endured. Spike Anderson went over to Canada, but in this particular match you're about to see, he had come back for one night only. And what better way to mark that occasion than by testing himself against Mike Musso. So that's the match we've got for you. It's a battle of two men that helped form W3L, that helped shape it into what it is today. Mike Musso takes on good friend Spike Anderson.
Well, how are you guys doing? Are you guys having fun tonight? Well, I hope you've got a lot of energy left for this next matchup, because it's certainly a match that I'm taking very seriously. I'm going to give you guys a whole lot. I don't put it on that, guys, but I'm going to take a minute to give you guys a quick history lesson. 8 years ago, 9, nearly 9.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce, here with you on Wrestling Showdown Rewind. And as this is our 6th anniversary episode of this programme, be it either Wrestling Showdown, Wrestling Lockdown, or as it currently is Wrestling Showdown Rewind, it seems only appropriate that we have two people from the very earliest days of W3L doing battle here this week. Now, you heard what Mike Musso had to say. Spike Anderson is indeed a good friend of Mike Musso's. They trained together. You see both men jockeying for position, and they were both there right at the start, helping build W3L, and Musso getting the slight edge. But of course, a lot of things have changed since they kind of started out training together. As you heard, Spike Anderson now residing over in Canada. They were called elbow tapping. Oh, Anderson got shoved down there. Now, this match comes from the March of 2009, and it is true, as Musso said, Anderson was back across just for a few days when it coincided with this W3L event, and Anderson leapt at the opportunity to face his friend. You can see the signs of respect here, because again, it's just two friends going at it, two men testing each other. This is the first time we have seen Spike Anderson here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind. So he applies the headlock. If you go on to the W3L box office, if you watch W3L Resurrection 2005, Spike Anderson was part of the tournament to crown the first ever tag team champions, along with Matt Skills. He didn't quite manage to get past Los Pervitos that night, but he and Matt Skills did win the Tag Team Contenders Battle Royal. So the following event, September to Dismember, it was Skills and Anderson challenging for the Tag Team Championship, one of whom was Mike Musso. So history is a way of repeating it, because as you saw Mike Musso come up with the Tag Team title, he won it the month prior to this event. He and Alan Grogan, the champions, in the February of 2009. And Spike Anderson just slides his way around him and applies a headlock one more time. And then Anderson was part of Team Excitement with Sean Harkin, but the team didn't really last, and he headed off to Canada. And that's where he's been making a name for himself ever since. And Anderson, well, again, see another slap of hands just to show that there's no animosity. It's nice sometimes to see two people testing each other. And as you've seen over all the previous weeks of Rewind, it's sometimes lovely to be able to revisit people that you were unfamiliar with, who you might have forgotten about. We've seen some really good stuff in the past. And here we've got Spike Anderson and Mike Musso. I mean, these are the two men that basically spurred each other on to train. Spike Anderson told his parents when he was 8 years old that he wanted to be a professional wrestler. Obviously, he met and befriended Mike Musso, and then in February of 2001, the pair of them had their very first training session. It was in the Playhouse in Edinburgh. There was an event put on. If you've ever listened to Mike Musso's podcast, he's talked about how he got started, and he goes more in depth about it. As Anderson just got a punch right in the face. Could be a bit more vicious than I thought they might get, but maybe there's a sign here of things to come. There's a hip toss. Vintage Musso, you might argue, goes to the cover, and Spike Anderson not quite prepared for it. Maybe he's getting a lot frustrated. That's why he slung a closed fist. Both men's first ever match was a tag team contest where they wrestled each other. So of course this is harkening back to that. Now it's 1-on-1, and a lot has changed since then. Since both men debuted, they've gone and improved. Obviously Mike Musso, the history of both men throughout 2002 and 3 would regularly travel all the way down to England, where they would train at Jake Roberts' Snake Pit. As you know, of course, the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts training Mike Musso, also trained Spike Anderson as well. But both men have moved on. Of course, Mike Musso stayed here. He helped build W3L. Spike Anderson headed over to Canada and took a slight hiatus from pro wrestling. But obviously stayed in shape, as you can see. Takes down Musso. And he watched an event by the Prairie Wrestling Alliance as Musso just trying to manoeuvre Spike Anderson, who kicked him away. This is one of the things I thought we'd see, is that both men have got a bag of tricks that maybe the other is unfamiliar with. Yeah, they started out the same, they had the same training, so in theory they know the same stuff, but they've gone very different career paths. Because in the January of the prior year to this, that being 2008, Spike Anderson started training with Lance Storm. And Mike Musso took a spill to the floor. I don't know if he was going to try and jump the ropes there, but if he did, he mistimed and hit the floor. Thankfully there's some mats for once. It's a heavy spill though. Now, Lance Storm has helped train a few W3L alumni. I think particularly like Danny Boy Rogers, Nathan Black, El Technico. They've all gone over and learned from Lance Storm, and so did Spike Anderson. And from there he started wrestling for the Prairie Wrestling Alliance, where also Danny Boy Rogers wrestled as well when he was over. See Spike holding the ropes. Sign of friendship here. And it's so nice to see some sportsmanship, no animosity, just two friends testing each other. I know this is a big thing for Mike Musso, because you've got to think that obviously as he just reties his lace, and you see how Spike Anderson just allows him to do it. Other folk might have jumped Musso, but Anderson's saying, no, take your time, get yourself sorted. But you've got to think that both men have gone their separate ways, and somewhere inside, both Musso and Anderson want to prove that they are the better of the two. That they've gained the most experience, they've gained the most skill, and Spike Anderson with a forearm. And he was waiting for Musso to tie his lace. Musso was barely finished. And Anderson, look at this, teeing off on him. And Lance Storm did like to break the rules now and again. Maybe it's one of the things he taught Spike Anderson, I don't know. Gone so hard at the corner, Musso bounces out in his back. Now he took a bit of a knock when he hit the floor. You saw him kind of like touch his back gently as he re-entered the ring. Of course, hitting those turnbuckles with the velocity he did will not improve his back issue any. Anderson kicks him right in the spine. This is a bit of a surprise. Maybe there's some frustration. When you think about this, Spike Anderson is coming to Mike Musso's home. He's come to W3L, Musso's territory if you like. He doesn't want to go back to Canada and say, I wrestled my former training partner and I lost. He wants to take a victory back to Lance Storm, but you know, as we shall see there, as he just gets the two, maybe frustration gets the better of him, and maybe this is how Spike Anderson is, who can say. He's been a tag team over in Canada quite a lot, certainly at this junction in his career. At one point being managed by none other than Taya Valkyrie, you might know from the Impact's knockout division. On a back elbow, Musso has felled like a tree. He's out cold. He took that back and went, oh no, he's not. He ran right into it and just collapsed. And Spike Anderson applying that chin lock. He had three idols when he was growing up, this Spike Anderson. One was the Macho Man Randy Savage. If you remember his early days, he was a pretty unpredictable man. And again, you could bend and break the rules to the best of him. He's also a big fan of the snooker player Jimmy White, who, you know, was a bit maybe controversial in his day, and also Greg Norman, the golfer. I mean, that's three big men at the very top of their respective arts, and a handful of hair. And I think we're seeing what Spike Anderson is made of. I don't think that he has come here at W3L today, in this particular event, to necessarily play nice with Mike Musso. I think he's come to somewhat lord it over them, because all friends like to do it. All friends like to needle each other. Oh, hang on, goes for the cover for a back elbow. Just nicked himself for two. All friends needle each other in the way that other people can't, right? And I think Spike Anderson thinks that he's become the better wrestler. That his training with Lance Storm, his wrestling over in Canada, has made him the better of the two. He drops a leg and goes to the cover, but Musso out again. And I think he's come here in an attempt to show Musso and all the W3L fans that he has improved the most. I think he wants to prove that he's got more experience, more skill than Mike Musso has, and he meshes up and Musso retaliates. And these men trading blows. And Spike Anderson fells Musso. As he goes for the cover. He's not playing about. I mean, he's not pandering to the fans, he's not waving his arms or gesticulating. He hits Musso. Musso goes down and Spike Anderson goes right in for the cover. That's that Lance Storm training right there. Merchandise caught in this chin lock, trying to fight back to his feet. Again, this match in March of 2009. Musso's last on Rewind 10 weeks ago, can you believe? And his match then, he was facing Invincible. A completely different prospect from Spike Anderson. Musso has to handle him differently, but a lot of it goes to cover yet again, not wasting any time. He's raining some fists down because Musso was the heavyweight champion back then. And yet again, how is he surviving all these pinfall attempts? See Spike Anderson just saying to the referee, just counting that a little bit faster. Musso dropped the heavyweight championship back at Remedy in April of 2008, and since that time he wait a minute, Russian leg sweep, and goes straight for the cover yet again. The Scotsman living in Candy's the Russian leg sweep. How international can you get? Musso kicks out once more, and Spike Anderson, he is going for covers every single time. At this juncture, of course, Musso tag team champion with Alan Grogan. They've only just won the championships, like I said, the month before, so they're still bedding in their team, if you like, but he's got nobody to reach out to. He's got no friends, he can't take a breather in the apron. So he hits that corner and ricochets back out. That's not the first time that's happened to him. And Spike going for the cover one more time. And Spike's been the aggressor. And you can see why he had so much potential in the early days of W3L. And obviously he's had a bit more seasoning. He's had some big names on those PWA shows. This is alongside the likes of Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. So it's that snap suplex. And again straight for the cover, but once more Musso able somehow to kick out of it. And Mike Musso, I mean, he's been on the back foot. I would venture to say, did not expect that his friend would come to W3L and put up this much of a fight. Wait a minute, Musso with a reversal. Oh, and a body press. And a reversal. Musso reversal, but he's right in the ropes. And Spike Anderson still kicks out. The referee took a moment to run round. That may have cost Spike there. Covering him again. Just netting him a count of 2. As once again applies the chin lock. Tries to wrap his arm around the carotid artery, tries to slow Musso down, tries to stem the flow of blood to the brain and knock him out if possible. See Musso trying to generate some noise in the audience to feed off their energy, also to maybe try and get the blood pumping through his body as well. And both men have the same idea. They hit clotheslines and down they go. I don't think Musso expected Anderson to take this in such a direction. I think he was expecting a clean wrestling match, both men just testing each other, keeping it very friendly, very sporting. But Spike Anderson obviously had other ideas, and that's why he decked Musso with that close fist at the start of the match, or near the start of the match anyway, and then started dictating the pace by bending those rules. Both men up. And again it's Spike with the fist, but Musso fires back one of his own. Musso will fire a shot, Spike Anderson reverses it, and Musso runs into that clothesline. And I don't know how much of each other's work these men have seen. I don't know how much of Spike Anderson's work Mike Musso has watched. I don't know if Spike Anderson's been keeping tabs on Mike Musso. Maybe they're both expecting each other to still be at the same level they were when they last met. As Musso drops the elbow, but Musso has improved dramatically over the years. He nearly wraps it up. Spike rolled that shoulder off the canvas. All his battles, his reign as heavyweight champion, the matches he's had against various people, it has improved Mike Musso no end. And he's so much more experienced than he was way back at like the Resurrection back in 2005. Calls for a suplex and hits it. Goes to the cover again. I'll quickly mention as well, of course, that Musso is familiar with the W3L ring, Spike Anderson is not. And that really does change things, because if you're in an unfamiliar ring, it moves differently, it feels different underfoot, the ropes have a different tension. That may have cost Spike Anderson a little at the start of the match. Musso just taking his time as he waiting for Spike to get up. And Spike Anderson just pushing the referee. We saw this last week in Sarah versus Carmel. The referee being pushed in the ropes and not really doing anything about it. I think actually the way it went was that Spike tried to push the ref, who jumped backwards in fright because he didn't shove him that hard. And the referee's not that light. As a consequence though, Mike Musso has landed heavily on that top turnbuckle. And he is right where Spike Anderson wants him. Rightly or wrongly, Spike has given a really good accounting of himself in this contest. He's a credit to the snake pit training got from Jake Robertson. That of Lance Storm as well, as he drops Musso with that superplex, and that is going to wrap it up. If he can cover Mike Musso right now, he will get that pin. But he is slow to follow up. It took a lot out of him. Even Spike Anderson delivering the superplex has to fall off the middle turnbuckle onto that hard ring. But he's knocked the air out of his lungs. Like I said, you get a familiarity with the ring, and he's not familiar with the W3L ring. He's not used to the way it moves. He's not used to how solid a platform it is. And he's crawling over slowly. And he drapes an arm. Is this going to be enough? Not as yet. Musso fires a shoulder off the canvas. And his benefit there was that Spike Anderson took so long in getting to him. That's what saved Musso there, and Spike knows it. Spike Anderson just taking a moment to clear his head, plan what he's going to do next. Ascend to the middle turnbuckle. He's a really good physical specimen. He's put the work in the gym, definitely. Oh, and he came down, but Musso got the boot up. Musso's those long legs, they always work to his advantage. I see Spike Anderson just taking a moment to catch some breath there. He and Musso opposite sides of the ring. Neither man can easily follow up though. And Musso charged straight in with a face buster. And Spike wasn't expecting that, or the knee lift. Musso can string these moves together. And he's getting that second win, maybe it's a third, possibly even a fourth at this point. Setting up for the merchandiser. Is he going to hit it? Spike, oh, and he caught the ref. Spike Anderson went to clothesline Musso, but the referee got caught in the way. Musso's got him hooked. And Spike backdrops out the merchandiser. Well, I have no idea if Spike Anderson was at the event the night before this one. Was he watching Mike Musso's match? Did he scout him? I honestly couldn't tell you. As he charges and Musso moves out the way and Spike goes to the floor. And this referee's down. As I said, Spike Anderson's put the work at the gym. He's solidly put together, and that clothesline is not the referee for 6. So there's no count right now. They can be on the floor as long as they want. And Musso runs into the post. And this is what has descended to. These two are friends. These two men are really, really good friends. Or so we are told anyway. And this is what it comes to. Spike Anderson returns to W3L, takes on his good friend Mike Musso. As he bounces his face right off the ring. He's bounced him at the post. I mean, he's bent the rules. He's not entirely broken them, but he's bent them, definitely. Is this what we would expect? I think, as I said before, Mike Musso was expecting a much more, fair match. Two good wrestlers testing each other's abilities. A sporting contest, and you can see what Spike Anderson's got in his hand. Musso's going to get his bell rung. But he's hesitating. And he's hesitating again. Musso's pulled himself up, and Spike Anderson, for the third time, has thought better of it. He's going to smash Musso with a bell. And on 3 separate occasions he went to do it, but he realised, he looked into his friend's eyes and realised he couldn't do it. Musso, he's hooked him, Merchandiser! And Spike went down, the referee dazed. Makes a 3 count and Musso's got it. Spike Anderson could have smashed him with that ring bell, but instead he didn't. It allowed Mike Musso to hit the Merchandiser, and ultimately Spike Anderson bent those rules left, right and centre, but when he looked into his friend's eyes he realised he couldn't do it. He'd maybe taken it too far, and that may have been his downfall here this week on Wrestling Showdown Rewind. Mike Musso versus Spike Anderson, ladies and gentlemen. What a tremendous contest between the two good friends. Hopefully we see Spike Anderson back in a W3L ring sometime in the future. Speaking of future events, this is the dates we currently have scheduled. These are obviously all subject to change. They were rescheduled from earlier this year. All original tickets will remain valid. So if you've got some, please keep hold of them. You will not miss out. And you can come along and see us at some point. We will keep you up to date. As soon as we know if they need reschedule, when they're going to happen, we will let you know, so stay tuned to all of our social media platforms. If you want to watch more W3L action, of course there's a whole bunch of things here on the network. Go and check out the playlists, or go to W3LBoxers.com. You can watch a whole bunch of events via digital download instantaneously. And when we are back up and running, our live event sponsor Crafty Connoisseur will be back on board. Make a purchase from them, we'll send it out to you so you don't even have to leave the house. So make a purchase, tell them that we said hello, and buy a fan support package too. It only starts at a £5. There's a price to suit every single budget. Helps you help us while waiting for live wrestling to return. For that money you get cheap ringside tickets, DVDs, posters, and of course an exclusive video message from a W3L star of your choice. You can also buy DVDs and our fantastic range of t-shirts. If you've not checked them out, go to the website, check them out. You can purchase those from our website, which is of course W3LWrestling.com. Buy your stuff there and sign up to the mailing list while you are at it. Give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us on Instagram, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Use that hashtag. What do you think of Spike Anderson? And he's on some of the box office shows. Go check them out. It's great to see him back, and again hopefully we see him back in W3L sometime in the future. And then come back next week because we'll have another fantastic match from the archives of the World Wide Wrestling League. Just want to say thank you to everyone that has watched any episodes of Wrestling Showdown over the years, whether it's been one, whether you watch regularly, hopefully you do. Thank you so much. 6 years, nobody ever thought it would go quite this long, but it has. And it's been great to continue to bring you stuff this year. You know, not to blow our own trumpet, but we're the only Scottish wrestling promotion that has presented you with fresh 100% new content every single week this year. Nobody else, literally nobody else can say that. We have, yes, we've had a dip in the archives, but you're seeing matches nobody else has ever seen since the day they occurred. So it's been great we could bring that to you, hopefully enlivens your day just a little bit, brightens things up a bit. And so thank you, because let's look forward to the next year of Wrestling Showdown. What's that going to bring? Hopefully live wrestling, getting back out to have an audience. But that is all in the future. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for having been part of this for the past 6 years. and we'll see you next week for more Wrestling Showdown Rewind.